If you were alive in the early 2000s, you'll probably remember the flurry of excitement about two new Cunard ships. The first was the mighty Queen Mary II, which entered service in 2004, and the second was Queen Victoria, scheduled to arrive in 2005. Yes, that's right, 2005. But we all know that Queen Victoria joined the Cunard fleet in late 2007, so what happened? I'm maritime history author and lecturer Chris Frame, and thanks so much for joining me. Cunard was acquired by Carnival Corporation back in 1998. At the time, the fleet was aging, with QE2 and Coronia both approaching 30 years of service. But Carnival's coffers allowed Cunard to rebuild, with QM2 built as an eventual replacement to QE2 and a large cruise ship ordered to replace the aging Coronia. That large cruise ship was given the name Queen Victoria and was set down at the Fincantieri yard near Venice with the build number of 6078. The ship was a Vista-class cruise ship originally designed by Holland America Line, another Carnival Corporation brand. The ship was first ordered by Holland America when the Vista-class ships were committed to. However, with Cunard needing new tonnage, the decision was made to allocate this hull to the Cunard brand. The ship was laid down on the 12th of July 2003, 6 months before QM2 entered service. The design called for a vessel with a gross tonnage of 83,000, and artist renditions showed a ship of almost identical appearance to the Holland America Vista-class ships already completed, Zuidam and Oosterdam. This included a stubby bow, an enclosed top pool deck, modestly terraced stern, and heaps of balconies, as well as the glass-clad elevators amidships that the Vista-class was known for. Cunard did make some alterations, with a funnel and mast design reminiscent of those found on board QE2, and internally, Queen Victoria's design featured several Cunard spaces, including a spa and a thalassotherapy complex of a similar scale to past Cunard ships. But the Vista-class design lacked some key Cunard spaces, such as the iconic Queen's Room ballroom, and it only had space for the Queen's Grill restaurant, so the Princess Grill restaurant was dropped for this design. Bear in mind that this was Cunard's first purpose-built cruise ship since the Cunard Countess and Cunard Princess entered service all the way back in the 1970s. Given QM2 was custom designed as an ocean liner, the Queen Victoria was also Cunard's first modern-day cruise ship. Between 2003 and 2005, Queen Victoria's construction continued at Fincantieri. Cunard started marketing the new ship, and people started booking. The brand even retired Coronia in 2004 in anticipation for Queen Victoria's arrival the following year. However, in January 2004, the QM2 entered service and received rave reviews. With QM2 on the North Atlantic, the veteran QE2 started offering more and more cruises, enjoying a boost in popularity. Cunard conducted extensive research among their passengers, and alarmingly, they realised that they'd perhaps missed the mark a bit with Queen Victoria's design. Passenger demands for suites and mini-suites meant the lack of Princess Grill accommodation on board was an issue, and the ship's lack of signature Cunard spaces, such as the ballroom, meant the ship would stand out as a lesser vessel when compared to QM2. Additionally, both QM2 and QE2 were ocean liners, capable of undertaking direct point-to-point transatlantic crossings. Queen Victoria was not, and although a cruise ship can do these voyages, it would not be comfortable or viable to run direct Atlantic services regularly. This had seemed fine when the ship's construction started, but Carnival's plans for Cunard had shifted following their 2003 merger with P&O Princess, and we covered this merger in our new book, The Evolution of the Passenger Ship. Prior to 2003, Cunard was Carnival's main British cruise line and poised for significant growth to compete with P&O's cruise offering. However, following the merger, Carnival now had P&O Cruises in their stable. So with P&O needing new ships and Queen Victoria looking increasingly unsuitable for the evolving Cunard brand, the decision was made just months before the ship entered service to move the ship to P&O. She was renamed Arcadia and updated internally to better reflect the P&O offering. Cunard announced the construction of a new Queen Victoria almost immediately. The new design was also based on the Vista-class, but with several key modifications. Firstly, the ship was larger, with a gross tonnage of over 90,000. The new Queen Victoria was also longer than the Arcadia and featured a strengthened bow, allowing her to undertake transatlantic crossings more easily. The glass lifts were done away with, while the glass covering was dropped from the top deck pool and relocated over the winter garden. The newer ship's design featured a Queen's Room and, importantly, a Princess Grill restaurant and the corresponding suites that made her offering aligned to the Cunard passenger expectations. This design was so popular that Cunard largely repeated it on board the 2010 Queen Elizabeth. The new Queen Victoria entered service in 2007. Curiously, when the ship was delivered, she had carpeting with Queen Victoria II branding on it, an error and a bit of a callback to her position as the second ship to be named Queen Victoria. Someone clearly didn't get the memo when ordering the carpets. So what of the P&O Arcadia? Are there any hints to her Cunard origin? Well, yes, there are, and to this day, she still features the QE2 style mast, as well as a funnel design that is very similar to the current Queen Victoria, minus the red Cunard cowling. The ship remains with P&O Cruises to this day, and offers adults-only itineraries and world cruises. So, did you know that Arcadia was actually the Queen Victoria? And have you sailed on either ship? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy deep dive maritime investigations and ocean liner history, you can support this channel by checking out my book, The Evolution of the Passenger Ship, or joining as a member. It'd be great to have you on board. Don't forget to check out my referral link to book your next holiday with Travel Masters, the very same travel agency that I use. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, I hope to see you on board.